Good afternoon, eighth grade, and welcome to Wildcat Wellness. This is like our 15th lesson in second step. And this particular unit that we're focusing on right now is how to manage stress and anxiety. Remember, we talked about stress and anxiety on last time, and we talked about how all of us have to deal with stress and anxiety. It's a part of being a human being. But sometimes stress may get out of hand, and we have to know who we need to talk to if that stress is not manageable for us. We talked about stress, what stress and anxiety, what it is to us, but it somewhat looks different for everyone. What are some clues your body give you when you know that stress is getting out of hand for you? I give you a moment to think about that. What is your body telling you when stress is getting out of hand? So this lesson is going to talk about where does stress come from? In this lesson, we're going to learn what causes stress and why sometimes those things are out of our control. All right, here are some possible stressful scenarios. With someone in your class, I want you to take turns asking each other which one you would rather do. So let's look at all of these questions, and I want you to discuss which one would you rather do. Teacher, you may pause the video. Okay, as we have just heard, people feel differently about what causes stress. These feelings can be based on so many different things. It can be based on our personality, our past experiences, or simply what we like or do not like. Okay, so we're gonna watch a quick video on students describing things that cause stress for them. As you watch, I want you to listen for a situation that you can relate to. And I'm pretty sure one of you can relate to the situations that you're going to see.
At home is chores. Chores makes me stressed. Like after leaving a really long day of school and just coming home with the dishes filled in the sink, that really makes me stressful because I'm like, how am I gonna do my homework as an eighth grader? We got pretty much a lot of homework.
There's a lot of that pressure to do as best you can on homework all the time. And when you're anxious or down, it is so hard to do that.
This one time I had basketball trials. I was real nervous and my body was like shaking, and because I was thinking about how I was going to do bad instead of how I was going to do good, and it just made me real nervous and stressful.
Some friends I can't see all the time because of quarantine. I just get very anxious to see how they've been doing because I do care about them and I want them to stay safe, and I can't really talk to them.
When we have virtual classes, it's kind of harder for me to grasp what's happening because I'm more of a visual learner, like board and paper. I get anxiety from that because I feel like every time we start, we get a homework assignment, a quiz, test, I'm going to fail it.
Small things even like my mom telling me to finish a chore when I have a lot on my plate.
2 years ago in summer, I had lost a friend. So like after that, I was just like really to myself, and I didn't know how to express everything. So holding all that in caused stress, anxiety. I was really anxious.
If there's a friend or something, I feel like I've upset them, my brain goes nuts.
When my dad has a bad day at work and he's not in a very good mood, it stresses me out just because he doesn't really like to socialize if he's had a bad day at work.
I'm an only child, which is a lot of pressure on my back because I want to make sure I'm always doing good for my family. So in school, I always make sure I do well on tests because I think about the future. I think about college. I think about what I want to be when I grow up, all those different things.
At home, stress is just like trying to please my parents. And I think it's like that at school. I just try to please everyone. I kind of put up a facade that I'm okay and I can do this and this at the same time. I can do all this. I can work hard.
So after watching this video, what are some situations that you can relate to? Teacher, you may pause the video. Okay, so let's look at some examples. So we have met Ariana, Janaya, and Maxwell in the video. Let's discuss as a class, what general types of things did the students say caused them a lot of stress? Teacher, you may pause the video. All right, now we're going to look at some stressors that are in our control to change and those that are not. As I read each one aloud, I want you guys to give me thumbs up if it's a stressor, if you think you can control, or thumbs down if you think you can't. So what is a stressor? A stressor is something that causes stress. Work with a partner and list common stressors in these 3 categories. But let's talk about these different stressors as a class. Does school cause stress? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Does home? Thumbs up or down? Social, being around friends, is that a stressor? Is the world, is that a stressor? Thumbs up or down? So here are some other stressors. In school, homework can be a stressor. At home, family illness, that can definitely be a stressor. In life, mean posts, yes, with our friends, that can be a definite stressor. In the world, how the weather is outside, that can cause a little bit of stress. But these are some different stressors that we may go through throughout our life.
12 to 14, that's a negative.
I want you guys to definitely think about this. Sometimes when we focus on trying to change situations that are out of our control, it can actually make our stress more difficult to manage. So on our worksheet, let's look at some things that you can control and some things that you can't control. So let's look at some stressors. Divorce, family illness, doing homework, studying for tests, mean posts. I want you to put these different stressors under these 2 categories, and I'll give you some time. Teacher, you may pause the video. Okay, let's look at the very first stressor, divorce. Is that something that we can control or cannot control? I will put divorce under things that I can't control. What about the next one, family illness? Is this something that I can control or I cannot control? I will put this under things that I cannot control. Doing homework. I will put this under things I can definitely control in my life. What about studying for tests? Yes, studying for tests. I can control that. What about mean posts? I know some of you you may be thinking that you can't control that, but you definitely cannot control if someone says something ugly about you on some of these social media platforms. Let's check. They're all correct. Okay. Although we may not be able to control these situations, what are some things we can control if they happen? Okay, so remember in the slide before this, we talked about situations that we can't control. We definitely can't control these 4 things, but again, there are situations where we have control over them. And these are some examples. I can control my responses to other people. I can manage my thoughts and feelings. I can get support for myself. I can take care of someone who's ill in my household. I can ignore mean posts. And I can make changes in my life to help the climate. All right, let's look at our handout. And I want you to put a C next to the stressors you listed that you can control, and an NC next to the stressors you list that you cannot control. I want you to think about this. Even though there are some stressors we can't do anything about, we can control how we respond to those stressors and how we reach out for help. All right, class. Some stressors cause more stress than others based on our current situations and priorities. Looking at all the stressors you listed, indicate the stressors that cause you the most stress overall. So we're going to write most stress next to your list of the stressors that you feel is causing the most stress. And you can look at the picture to get you some good examples. All right, let's look at the wrap up. What's one stressor in your life that you would like to work on managing? What's in your control with this stressor and what's out of control with this stressor? So we got to figure out what's a really big thing in our life that's causing a lot of stress and how we're going to manage it, how we're going to work this out in our life. Okay, now that we know what some things are out of our control, I want you to focus on things you can manage and improve. Okay, so in our upcoming lesson, we're going to learn some different strategies on how to manage our everyday stress. So remember again, all of us have stress, but we have to learn how to deal with it. And we have to know who we need to talk to in order to deal with that stress if it's getting out of hand. Okay, guys, I truly enjoyed this lesson. I'll see you on next Tuesday. And again, this unit is going to focus a lot on how to manage stress. I hope this was helpful to you. Guys, next week.